started.
It's greatest of all time show. That's what that means to me.
No, we're okayest, not greatest of all time.
You did say goat. By goat, you mean one of those screaming, fainting goats that falls over.
You know what goats are, aren't you? Don't you?
No.
They're Satan's children. They eat everything and they shit all over the place.
Oh, God. They do have square eyes. That's a concern. Let's do this.
This is the Okayest Hunter podcast. Never pass on shooter bucks, because that's just meat in the freezer. It's your tag, you hunt how you want. This is Okayest Hunter.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Okayest Hunter podcast, the podcast that is the okayest podcast in all of the land. Did I just almost totally go back to... Yeah.
You almost did.
Ask me how much sleep I got last night.
I'm going to guess less than an hour.
2 hours and a half.
Well, no, that's not great.
Oh, my God. Anyway, hey, welcome to the Okayest Hunter podcast. We're your goofy hosts here out of Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. And
Oconomowoc, huh?
I'm pretty tired. So shout out to Drop Time Spirits, because I need it, I think. And I've had, 4 cups of coffee today. I'm about out of Backwoods Grind coffee because of that. So I'll have to refresh. But if you want to refresh, you can go over their site, use code OHP. It's backwoodsgrind.com, 10% off. And shout out to our presenting sponsor, Spartan Forge. They're off to the races, man. They're doing like a lot of stuff. I think they already pushed out an update, and they're iterating quick
every week.
Yep.
There's a little something getting a little better. It's still in beta mode.
Yep.
But he's perfecting it, and he's doing a nice job of it after he got through all the little mishaps of getting it into the app stores.
Yeah. But and everyone that I show it to, they're like, whoa, dude, these maps are so much more clear than all of the competitor products. And,
right.
You know, it definitely takes your okayestness up a couple of notches. You have to actually interpret and understand some things like full range and abnormal and a lot of the things that they're talking about, core movement and things like that. So, but their pro staff is great about helping you out. If you have questions, ask those guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell them Eric sent you. And they'll probably roll their eyes, but they'll help you.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. Who's that guy? So we do have a guest with us today. We are joined today by none other than Sarah Rowe, the former WWE Super Star. Did I get that right? Did I mess that up?
Yes.
Damn it. I knew it. I wrote it down, too.
No, you got it right. I mean, okay. I didn't understand the question, I guess. You did get it right. You did not miss it.
Set you up for failure on that one. I'm like, I've messed up so many different last names over the years. It's pretty bad.
It's 4 letters. It's all right.
It's easy. And you're talking to us from Ohio today.
Oh, Northern Ohio. Yes, that is where I resign. I don't say exactly where because
you don't need to.
Yeah, you don't want to deal with that stuff. So tell us, I guess, just give us the rundown, the 2-bit intro of who you are, because to many, I think you're a pretty big deal. I know I got one guy that's going to call and he's going to be like freaking out.
You might
I am 28 years old. I'm a former WWE Super Star. I was on Raw and SmackDown TV every week. I was part of a stable called the Riot Squad. My stage name was Sarah Logan. I guess I just look like a Sarah. It was both Sarah in real life and not real life. And now I just farm. I'm a mom. I have a coaching business. I run a YouTube show. Drink scotch.
So, yeah, you got some scotch. You're drinking some Johnny Walker. We were cheersing to that. Momming is very difficult. Farming is hard work. The coaching stuff is probably no joke either. I'm sure there's a lot of physical fitness that went into the wrestling world while you're doing that stuff. So that doesn't just stop, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely not. Actually, like I'm to the point where I have like injuries that if I stop lifting, they just exacerbate and get terrible. So kind of lifting to live at this point.
Isn't that weird that works like that? That you like, if you stop doing something, like if you just lay in bed all day, you'll be miserable. You can't
Oh yeah,
like,
my back would just peace out on me for sure.
yeah. Do you have like a really, this is, I don't know, I'm only going this direction I have a reason. Greg's sitting there like, what the fuck are you getting into, Eric? But talking about being in bed all day and having a sore back, are you like on a really awesome mattress?
Yeah, actually, it's called Bear mattress, like Bear, Bear.
Yeah. Like Bear
Um,
from, yeah.
yeah, I mean it's awesome. It's like I got like the hybrid one, so it's like a regular mattress plus a memory foam mattress, and it does its job. It's great.
I
Bear,
had, I
bear.
had my wife and our 15, holy shit, our 5-year anniversary is coming up on the 15th. And so we gifted each other a purple mattress. That's
Ooh,
we've been using
little
the same thing we've
squishies,
had.
the eggs.
Yeah, the weird, like, I don't know.
Did you egg
The,
test it?
it's coming on Friday, so I'm very excited about it. My back hurts a lot. Our mattress that we have since we were dating. It's
Time to upgrade.
I used to have the old mattresses like that were like your grandma's. That if you rolled over, it was like the loudest, like
yeah, like the spring,
springs
like,
just hitting you in the rib.
it's not cool.
Yeah, it's time for a new one.
So, okay, the reason you're on the show, you guys have been following OKS Hunter for a little while. I think we sent you some shirts at some point, even you and your husband. I say you guys, and we got the studio that we put together. And you guys are like, "Holy shit! Like, we want to come visit." And I was like, "Are you in Wisconsin?" You're like, "Well, no." So here we are. But but more than like wrestling, which I'm going to talk about, you're a hunter, and you kind of grew up that way. Can you talk about like how you got into hunting?
Yeah, 100%. So I am from Kentucky, Eastern Kentucky, big hound hunting culture, big gender role culture. So I loved hunting. I loved being around it, but like I was a girl, so I wasn't really invited to go on like the hunts. However, I was a good tracker and I like would go anywhere to track a deer out for how long, anywhere, whatever. So I would always help track the deer, track turkeys, track whatever, and do the processing part. So the kind of the nitty gritty work, like I hated being inside, like in where the girls were, and I don't know, I fell in love with it. Like I always wanted to do more and more and more and more. And it's funny, I'm the only younger person, like in that generation of my family who still currently hunts. All the boys just don't hunt anymore. Um, but yeah, my family was huge into hunting, and but I almost exclusively bow hunt now. And they were all just traditional like rifle hunters, shotgun hunters. Actually, just reconnected with my. I never knew my biological dad growing up, and as of 2 days ago, I reconnected with
Oh my
him.
god,
Turns out he is a traditional bow hunter, has a farm in Indiana, like southern Indiana, and so I was like, that's I guess maybe that's why I always felt a calling to bow hunting and having my own farm and have like he built his own house, has his own whatever. So I guess that apple don't fall too
two
far
days
from that
ago,
tree.
you hardly began to even
Yeah, it's
process
crazy.
that yet, and the similarities. How interesting.
Yeah, he like sent me like a picture. He had like a Three Rivers archery hat on with like a recurve bow. I was like, okay,
That's awesome.
we'll
What are
see.
the odds? Well, congrats on that. That's a big deal. And
Yeah, well,
now
we'll see how it goes.
you have a little one, 8 months old.
Cash boy,
And
yep.
how is that? Like, are you
Dude,
incorporating him into your outdoor life and farming and hunting and shooting and stuff? Like, what's that like?
I just went hunting with him on my back a few days ago, last week. I don't know what today is.
I don't either.
Last week.
Tuesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday. I
And
know that's podcast day.
I went hunting with him in southern Ohio. I just put on my back and did like a spot and stalk, bumped 20 something deer. But it was awesome. Like the whole time he's on my back, he's like me, me, me. So I already kind of know unless the deer is just dumb or something's wrong with it, I'm not gonna be able to shoot it. So I go down this holler and I come up and I hear him blowing and they're running up the holler and I'm just watching them go and he's like yelling at them and they're blowing at me and I was like, oh god, this is definitely not something I dreamed about my whole life or anything. It's fine.
That's pretty cool. I was on a hike with my son and my daughter and my wife at like a state park, and we kicked up some deer. And I think it was my son, because he was young. This was like a year-ish ago, and he's 2 now. He's a freaking maniac. He's a wrecking ball, but he was making all sorts of weird noises like you're talking about. And the deer stopped because they're like, what the hell is that? So they're like looking and looking. Now, they weren't close enough to shoot at all. And I wasn't out hunting either, so it didn't really matter. They're like used to people. But it was kind of funny because I was like, oh, man, you're not like scaring them at all. They've never heard this noise before. It doesn't sound threatening, but it sounded interesting.
Yeah, it's a little baby cue.
Yeah. They're like, what the hell is that? So, okay. Kentucky, born and raised, grew up hunting, well, a little bit, and then tracking by and large, and then you got to do a lot of the processing stuff. What kind of animals do you guys have?
I can gut a deer just almost with, like, once I get inside of it, it's just like my hands, like a predator style, like just grab the esophagus and.
Really? Oh my God! I wish you could come gut my deer. I have a buddy, my buddy Joel. He gets any chance he's around. Like, I have no shame in asking him to gut my deer. I've never met anyone.
When's the last time you gutted a deer?
I gutted my buck last year and I got a doe. But Joel was there. I think he helped me with both of them. He's so fast at it. One year he forgot like his knife or whatever, but for some reason he carried like a blade, like a box cutter blade kind of in his wallet. And so then he just gutted the whole deer like with that, like not the box cutter, but just the blade part,
Just a utility.
Just a little straight edge razor.
Yeah, straight edge razor, right? He's a maniac when it comes to that, which I can appreciate because I am like making very difficult sounds. Like how old men like grunt when they're sitting there like,
victim noises.
Yeah. I'm like, God damn, I don't know what I'm doing here. There's like, it looks like a Dexter scene, like it's just not cool when I do it.
My husband's he's just started hunting a couple years ago, and he's very like methodical about things. He likes to just know all the information before he dives into something. So like we handle problems like very differently. Like I'm just gonna, like, it's a herbivore. If it poops on me, that's fine. I don't give a shit. He's like just slowly cutting, and I'm like that in the background, like just rip it out. And I'm trying to be nice and patient. I'm like, yeah, just go around, get the membrane, just.
I'm probably in between the two of your styles. I'm not bold enough to like just get in there because I'm going to make a real mess of it. But I'm also like, I'm not as meticulous. I wish I were. I'm just slow because I'm an idiot and I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like,
I hunted until I was 8 months pregnant, and I shot a doe, and I'm cutting her open, and she had breast milk, which pregnant, that was weird. And then when I bent over to gut her, I couldn't breathe because I'm large and in charge. I'm tons of fun over here. So I had to like take a deep breath and like I'm diving underwater to like gut this deer. And it was the fastest deer I ever gutted because I almost freaking passed out. He was like, "Kill me, do it." And I was like, "It's my deer. I got it. I'm sorry."
So you got your husband into hunting, not the other way around, which I think is pretty dope. We were talking before we hit the record button, and you've kind of created a monster. You want to talk about how you convinced him to get into this whole freaking world and like what you guys think of it now?
Yeah,
Your husband wrestles too, right? Like that's.
Oh wait, hold on. My son's crying. Let me look my husband up. 1 second.
Yep, no problem. I totally get it.
Ray Rowe. Will you grab Cash, please? I'm doing this podcast. He's crying. Will you grab him? I'm doing this podcast.
I know exactly how that goes. I just muted them real quick so they can have a private conversation. Because if it wasn't for Holly, I'd have the same problem. I just muted you for 3 seconds, so don't worry.
I know he's woke up terrified. He's like, "What's wrong?
Where's mommy?"
He had a red eye last night, so Ray hasn't slept at all. Okay, I think we're okay.
I can relate to that a little bit. I mean, 2.5 hours of sleep is something, but I'm probably on that level. So I'm doing such a great job on the interview right now. I'm killing it. Craig, my slack.
You do a fine job. As soon as I start saying something, you come up with something. So you're good. I'll just nod my head.
So do you ever do any like small game hunting then too, or anything like that, or is it just right into deer and whitetail?
No, we did a squirrel a lot. Squirrels and rabbits. Never any birds. They went turkey hunting, but I was never, like I said, I wasn't really ever invited, so I've never really turkey hunted that much. Especially I've never turkey hunted with a bow or even attempted to. Um,
It's a pain in the ass.
Why?
I heard it's like a
Pain in the-
really fun time because like it's so interactive, but like I said, I hate processing birds, and I don't know if like the meat is such a bit is the most important part to me. So like I feel like if I'm gonna not enjoy that part of it, like I don't know, I'm just kind of
I haven't done it yet. I haven't got into it. I keep saying I'm going to, and it's hard
Turkey
to find
hunting
the
with a
time to
bow
do
is a
something
pain
new.
in the ass because either you're going out, it's hard to be mobile with a bow. And it's easy with a shotgun. You could tuck into a brush pile, no problem.
I see.
You're not getting up and drawn.
So
Turkeys,
turkeys,
see you
they see
draw.
all the motion.
Yeah,
Got it.
so unless you want to sit on the corner of a food plot or a field or something or a known travel corridor of the turkeys and put a blind there and leave it there, that's fine. But I don't care to hunt that way. It's kind of nice to be able to run and gun. If I know the turkeys are working the other edge of the field, I can grab a decoy, grab my shotgun, and bolt to the other end of the field, work it around, set my decoy, and call a bird. Or even go straight at them if I wanted to.
I see. Cool. You good over there, Sarah?
yeah. You
Okay.
okay, Ryan? Okay, man, we're good. We're good.
Got it.
But hunting squirrels and hunting rabbits is a great way to start. And honestly, it's still fun after you've done it, a bunch. And you've gone off and maybe gone elk hunting, or you've gone and killed a bunch of deer, or gotten into waterfowl. It's still fun to kind of come back to it and
Yeah, because
sneak up on them
yeah.
and shoot them.
Because squirrels, like, they're everywhere. Rabbits are everywhere. It's
Yep.
you get more like opportunity. It's good. I love taking kids. It's real good, like target practice and kind of understanding the aspect of hunting. Like squirrels don't scare as easily as deer, but you can't just walk in there like you're, an idiot. So
Right. And you're shooting at them with, a small bore rifle, which can be a little bit of a challenge for some people too.
mhm.
See, I never did much small game hunting.
What's your favorite squirrel recipe?
I like chili. Chili.
Chili?
Just
A
stop
lot
right
of
there. Just like,
squirrels though.
now I'm talking about
Chili.
chili, and I can't talk about anything else.
Chili's good. Chili's
Chili.
good.
It's almost chili season. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's definitely
Just about.
chili season.
Dude, this year I've hunted 3 times and I've seen coyotes every time I've hunted. I feel like
Like small game
it's like a
licensing.
sign or something.
Yeah.
You don't see them during the day. It's like first light comes, coyote comes, and I'm like, well, I ain't seeing no deer today. But it's like a sign or something. Should probably Google it.
Probably go shoot it. Sounds like you should go coyote hunting. That's the sign I'm picking up on. But so okay, you're 28, which I think Greg and I would probably agree that we think that's young. Although when I was 28, I thought it was old. So, being a wrestler, yeah, but like I'm just saying, so at 28, you're still pretty damn young. So you've been wrestling. Like, when did you get into that, and then how did you find time to do both things? Because you're traveling a lot that career.
Yeah, I started wrestling when I was 17, and I 4 days after I graduated high school, I flew to Japan. Never been on a plane before, ever. Never really been out of Indiyaki area, like Southern Indiana, Northern Kentucky. And my focus just only became wrestling. I was like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this with all I got. So I would drive freaking everywhere. And for a couple of years, I didn't hunt because I was just hustling wrestling. Like I drove so many cars into the ground, freaking driving like 93 like Honda Accords, like just everywhere. Like I remember driving through the West Virginia mountains like pedal to the metal, going like 40 miles an hour because I had so many big wrestlers in my small car. I used to do
they're large
deathmatch wrestling, which was as fun as it sounds. I wrestled in like barbed wire, thumbtacks, light tubes, whatever, and I did that for a long time, like 2 years, and I went to Germany, Mexico, Scotland, England, Canada, like a bunch of places doing the deathmatch wrestling, and kind of got my name started. Just because like I would just show up everywhere. And then once I got into WWE started noticing me, I stopped doing the death matches because I was like, I probably shouldn't just scar my face all up from on TV. And I started working for WWE in like 2015, and I was with NXT, which is like their developmental company. And then in 2017, I got called up. It's called to the main roster, which is I got called up to SmackDown. Was on SmackDown, and that was awesome. I met my like two best friends, and when I got to WWE is when I started being able to hunt again, because that was the first kind of like time in wrestling I had just one job. Like I wasn't like going around everywhere, and like even though the WWE schedule is crazy, I knew kind of what days I'd have off, sort of, and I could kind of plan my hunting around that. Like when I hunted for my wedding was one of the first times I hunted in years, so. I remember I wanted to get a deer for my wedding so bad. Like I was like, I'm not leaving here without one. And I only had 3 days to 4 mornings, 3 nights to hunt. And on like the third morning, it was like sleet raining. Like everything was frozen. It was my dad's like, I ain't going out. Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, I am. So okay, it's hunter fashion. I climb my tree stand with a spatula, because that's the only thing I have to scrape all the ice off my tree stand. So it's me, my bow, and a spatula in this tree stand. Didn't see anything, shockingly.
So you were home for your wedding, and so when you say you want to get a deer for your wedding, you're like, hey, I'm here for this wedding, but I'm gonna freaking hunt and get a deer. Like it has to happen for like this
I
wedding.
feel like it would have been like bad luck on my wedding if like I had set out to do this and didn't. So
when did you guys get married? So
we got married. It'll be our 2-year anniversary coming up. Got married on the winter solstice, December 21st, and we had a full Viking wedding, which was insanely awesome.
That's pretty cool. I don't know much about like how that works, but it sounds pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's on my my Roseburg TV. It's on my YouTube channel. We had like this videographer come out, and it was freaking amazing.
Freaking nuts. So like you and your husband are like meant to be, because you don't just like hang out with someone and marry them and then like, hey, I'm going to go kill a deer on our wedding. Like he's got to be down with that shit. Like that's not, you know what I mean? So that makes it for man, if our wives were like that.
He knew I was not normal. He knew, like, it was, I'm pretty upfront with like who I am and how I like to do things. And we met before WWE. We met on, it's called independent wrestling. I was on a show. I saw him wrestling, and I was like, man, this dude is the best looking thing I've ever seen. So I kept getting booked on shows that he was booked on, because I was like trying to,
say hi,
put my game on him, which obviously worked. So game strong.
Yeah. So that's pretty freaking wild. I wish. So this is interesting, because this is you talk about like the gender thing and being from where you're at and just the different roles and how you weren't invited to deer camp or whatever it was in hunting, but you being a female in a relationship, your husband's like, yeah, I guess you want to go kill a deer, like go nuts. I shit you not, if either one of us or anybody that's a dude that's listening, by and large, there's outliers and exceptions here, but if we'd have been like, I'm going to go kill a deer on our wedding day, there would have been a dead body on the fucking scene, and it would have been one of us. Like our wives my wife would have killed me. No, she's been hunting. She's not a hunter, like she's like, this is boring, not my thing. But
he's very like, it's so nice to date like a dude who doesn't have like a complex about like anything. Like he's so like secure that like I'm able to do a lot of manly things without making him feel less of a dude, which was very hard to find in my profession. I'm a professional athlete. I'm a freaking WWE superstar. I hunt. I do all these I lift, I hunt, I do all these manly things. So like it was a little hard to find a dude to kind of sack up and marry me.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with guys that are intimidated by that kind of stuff or something like that. I don't know what it is, but you're right.
You just
Like
gotta
that.
be super secure, you know.
Yep,
That's what
that's
it is.
probably the big thing. If you have insecurities, then you're going to feel threatened by what your partner in life. Like,
Yeah.
so you got a good dude.
Could you
Sounds
be
like.
less cool? Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, there's Carrie Zilka's a podcaster in the outdoor space who I had her on a couple of times. I've been on her show a couple of times. I don't know what her show is called these days. It's like Hunt Travel something. But I think she is divorced now, unfortunately, from what I understand. But her husband at the time like wasn't a hunter at all, and she's like, oh my god, I hunt as much as I possibly can, and he like doesn't give a fuck. And he was accepting of that. Well, maybe not, I guess, because I don't know how that.
Maybe he did mind. He just didn't tell her for a long time.
Yeah. But I remember back then.
I understand how it would be hard, like if, especially with our road schedule, like if both of us didn't hunt, like if Ray was gone, we're both gone like all week, and we get home, we're only home for 2 days, and I'm like, sorry, I'm gonna go hunt, like that's shitty. So it definitely helps that we share so many passions together. Like, last week we spent all week hunting in Southern Ohio in like the Hocking Hills area. And he got home, we drove to Hocking Hills, and then he flew back out. So if like I was just home with the baby and he was in Southern Ohio hunting, like that wouldn't be cool,
Yeah. I gotta imagine like a man of his size, because I've seen the photos, dragging deer out must be really like you're also like not small in the sense that you're talking about lifting and shit. Like I bet you probably drag a deer out better than us. Like I was sucking wind dragging my buck out last year. I was like, I thought my lung was gonna collapse. It was terrible. I'm so out of shape.
I think it's not so much like the strength, it's my pride. Like I'll die before I don't drag this deer out.
So you don't let him drag your deer out, huh? You're like,
no, absolutely not. Ray's first deer, he shot it with a crossbow in our backyard, and he got one of the lungs, so it was 200 yards from the tree stand, but we lived in like very dense woods, so he shot it. We didn't wait very long because we were both freaking so excited. We didn't wait very long to go track it, so we're finding like where it's bedded down. It keeps getting bumped, and Ray is freaking out because we can't find this deer. And he's like hands on top of head, like he's like, oh my god, I just heard it, like he's freaking out. And I'm in the woods like pinwheeling. I will die before I don't find this deer. We found it eventually, but
yeah, we should have you with. I was trying to track my doe last 2 weeks ago, whatever. We couldn't find it. There's our
dogs come in handy.
So my call-in line dropped. I don't know what's going on with that. It's something to do. I use Skype to call in, and that's what the problem is. So
technology sucks.
Yeah, it's the technology guy, me. But we do have a caller. I just shared the link, so Stevie Mo is going to jump on if that's cool with you, Sarah.
I'm good. You do it, Stevie.
You're up for anything? Hey, Steve. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on? How are you?
Hello, Steve. Emo.
He's Steve Emo. All right, we're going with that.
Yeah, he is pretty emo.
Give him too many compliments to his head.
Yeah, I was literally singing the used lyrics on my way here. Hey, thanks for working so hard while you're trying to interview this wonderful guest here to get me on. Sarah, it's a pleasure to talk to you. Greg, it's always okay to see you.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I'm okay.
Yeah, Sarah, I just want to say I'm a huge fan of your work. I'm a huge fan of your husband's work. I've been following him.
Thanks, man.
Good long while, like back in the New Japan days. And
War Machine.
I remember, yeah, War Machine was great. They never should have changed that name. And the name change, and then the other name change, and But I remember I got because I've been following you on Instagram, and I used to do a bow hunting podcast, and we'd talk to John Dudley, and so I followed him and followed what he was doing, and I remember seeing a post, and I see you guys went to the School of Knock. I was like, Okay, I was like, all right, this is very interesting. So on another level, like, I was the only one. I was always dropping like wrestling references, and I just never. I always wanted to blend that too because I love hunting and I love pro wrestling, and I'm like, oh, here we go. And I remember I was talking to Eric one time about wrestling. He goes, "Hey, do you know who Roseburg TV is?" I go, "Yeah," and he goes, "Yeah, we sent him some merch." I was like, "Oh, really?" Really? Tell him I'm a fan. And he told me you're gonna be on here, so he thought it would be an okay idea if I called in, and I could pick your brain a little bit. Is that all right?
Oh, please go.
Go nuts, Steve.
So
You're no spring chicken at podcasting, so go for it.
one of the questions I was always curious about, and you see a couple guys out there who in the locker room is the best hunter. Is that you, or back in the WWE days, or even now?
Yeah, there's not a lot of hunters backstage at WWE. Me and Ray, obviously, and I know Braun was a hunter.
Mhm.
He, of course, I'm gonna say I'm a better hunter than Braun, just because because um, I know Braun. I could be wrong. I've never hunted with the man. I think he's almost exclusively like rifle hunts. So I myself could not just be a rifle hunter. Like I would stress myself out with the limited amount of time I had to kill something. I'm not that good. So there's not a lot of hunters backstage. So by default, yes, I am the best and worst hunter backstage.
Good way to look at it, Sarah.
Hey,
By the way, like gun season's short, so you would have less opportunity to kill a deer. So most people
It
think
would
like,
stress
well,
me out. Yeah, I wouldn't. And I
interesting.
hate just having you play in the county game in Ohio. Like if I'm just hunting one county for a few days and like I shoot a doe on the first day, I'm like, well, I should probably say this other thing if like a big buck comes in. But I
Yep.
hate exclusively buck hunting. Like it's not as fun to me. Like I love seeing does come in and like watching them, but like if a doe comes in and I know I'm going to kill it, like it's such a different rush. And I would hate just being a buck hunter and only getting that like fix like every once in I don't know, you only gonna shoot like 150-inch deer, like that's once in a couple seasons. So
Yeah, we got a shirt for that. I just bought it myself. It's called Deer.
hey, I got
one.
Well, I'm the
You
one.
got to
I
practice.
got here's another one I got for you now. I want you to picture both of these moments and picture them very, very well. I want you to recall both of them. What was more exciting? What got your blood pumping more? The biggest buck you've ever seen coming in, or the night you debuted on SmackDown?
This is a good one.
So different feelings, very different feelings. The
Did you puke
night
in
I
either of them?
debuted on, huh?
Did you puke in either one of those situations?
Oh no, I'm no bitch. I don't puke.
This is a professional here we're
But
talking.
You're more doers
they're
then.
very different feelings. Like debuting on like SmackDown is so like debuting is so fast, and like we didn't even know we were debuting until the night before, and then like we didn't know what we were doing. You don't really know what you're doing until it's happening at WWE. So like it's kind of a thing that you kind of enjoy after because it's so like and you do it and you're like and then the 2 minutes go by that millions of people see and you go backstage and you're like whew, like what just happened. It very rarely in my wrestling career is it slow enough like during the match to kind of like appreciate what's happening in the moment. Now with hunting, you like ideally you see it come in, you're like trying to be patient, you're trying to wait for that shot, especially with bow hunting because they got to get so close, especially if you're shooting as far as I'm shooting, and you just got to get so close, and it's a very different feeling. Like of course your adrenaline's high when you're wrestling, but like it's not like an immediate like if I see that deer, it's like boom. Every year I always get scared that like I'm like, man, is this year I'm not gonna is my heart not gonna do that thing that it always does, and hasn't let me down yet. But I hope that answered your question. They're just different.
Yeah, that's because I remember hearing something similar to that. I was fortunate enough to we did an interview with Aaron Lewis from Stained, and
Oh,
he was
I
telling
love
us,
Aaron Lewis.
yeah, and He's an interesting cat. If you know him, ask him about ATA when a shirtless fat dude rode a mechanical bull.
I don't know him, but hopefully I remember that when I meet him eventually, because we're just awesome.
Yeah.
Weird dude.
Yeah, he told me he's like, he played where he's in like Russia in front of like 300,000, and he goes, or he compared that to a bear hunt he had. I think he was in Alaska, and he goes, my heart raced so much on that bear hunt. He's like, those being in front of 300,000 people, they like didn't even compare. And I was like, if that doesn't explain why we do what we do, I don't know what can.
I think it goes back to like a primal thing. Like our ancestors didn't know what it felt like to be in front of hundreds and thousands. Like I was in WrestleMania and I'm in the ring by myself in front of 85,000 people. Like you don't know no one knows what that is, but there's a instinctual, like animalistic thing about hunting that like your body is like, I remember. It's just coming in, like it's something inside you that just awakens.
Yeah, because there's only so many times a deer is going to come in, but there's so many times you're going to do a collar and elbow tie out there. You're just like, this is we're
it's
just
like totally different,
No, that's awesome.
I'm not worried about the deer punching me in the face normally.
Right.
So you said
I always
your thumbs or something, like, holy shit. I would be terrified to get in a ring with you. I would be terrified.
I'm real good at getting hurt. So like you may be a better fighter than me, but I might be better at getting hurt than you, so I can stick in there a little longer. That's what I'm betting on.
Someone that I've done some hunts with said I'm real good at scaring deer. He's like, we're gonna know if there's deer in this property or not by the time we're done. I thought that was an interesting take on it. I'm real good at getting hurt. I'm real good at scaring deer. Like that's like you can learn a lot like that. You can learn a fuck ton.
Dude, Ray is the worst at seeing deer. Me and him run a blind last year, and because I can only hunt blind because I'm bulbous pregnant, and deer comes out, and I'm like, Ray, deer. He goes, where? I'm like, over there. He's like, where? I'm like, by the trees. Of course, we're surrounded by trees. He's like, where? And I'm like, oh my God, you're not seeing the only thing moving.
The brown thing by the tree.
And he's so funny because he's a large man and he's trying to like sneak through the woods and it's just not. Or he'll like, I imagine him saddle hunting, like when like a big bear stands behind it or a dog stands behind something. And it's like I'm so hidden, nothing can see me. Like I feel like that's Ray saddle hunting. It's behind the tree, but it's like a twig.
Yeah, are you guys saddle hunting or what's your method of choice right now?
Dude, so Ray started saddle hunting last season. I couldn't because I couldn't climb a tree, but I love climbing trees. I was always in trees. My nickname was Squirrel when I was growing up, and I've saddle hunted a few times this year, and it's freaking awesome. Like you can pick any tree you want, which is cool. So like you know of a good spot, you go there. I literally check the wind, pick a tree. Like you're not forced to kind of like, oh, I can't hunt this place because the wind is shitty or whatever. Like it doesn't matter. And being able to kind of rotate around the tree is awesome. Being always like tension to the tree, you kind of feel safer. It's just cool. It's real cool.
Yeah, being a parent, the safety component's a pretty big deal, I think.
Even if I go in a tree stand, I wear my saddle as like my safety vest or harness or whatever. I'll wear my saddle.
Yeah, and you can get some more
it's
shots
easier
in
to climb with.
Yeah. Greg's been experimenting with saddle this year.
It's all the rage now. So
yeah, it's all the rage. Or you're going with a lightweight tree stand, and I've got trees where a saddle's not going to work in some of the places I hunt. So if I know I'm going to,
too big.
Some are too big, and some they're tag alders. They're like a pine tree, so they might have a small area of an opening towards
right,
kind of in the middle. If they're 30 feet tall or whatever, so 12 to 15 feet up, they might have an open spot where a bunch of branches have died. I can't make a saddle work there. So then I know I'll just pack the small tree stand with and stand in sticks and go in there and climb up and
now you're well suited for any situation.
Yeah, I got all the tools I need in the toolbox. So
yeah, it's pretty neat.
I can't be bothered carrying anything extra. Kudos on you for carrying a small tree stand. I'm like, I don't want to do nothing.
And that's how I've been hunting for probably the last 15 years is a tree stand. putting it on my back with the sticks and the backpack and all the crap and
Mhm.
hauling it around. So the saddle's nice because some of these places, like, you're not getting through with a tree stand without making noise. Where
100%, yeah.
I have my platform, I tuck it in my bag. I built a set of smaller sticks. Those fit in my bag. It's all
You got
on
a
my
platform
back.
you brought in the studio tonight. What's that all about?
Well, I figured I'd show what I got. And
I see. I'll show you what I got.
Yeah. Yours is fancier than mine.
We're getting weird in here, guys.
I know. If we have a tree that like is particularly like limby, we'll set up sticks before so we can choose at least the side of the tree we want to. So I'll set up the sticks and then I'll just climb up with my platform and my saddle.
Yeah,
which is cool too.
It's great if you're hunting a piece of private or a place where you can trim trees. I'm hunting public land, and it's all, if I find sign over there, I'm going to go over there and hunt it. And
yeah, 100%, yeah.
And I can't legally. We're not supposed to be trimming trees here, so I'm kind of
everything legally, always, yes. 100%,
yeah, try to. So private properties, it's nice because you can go and prep a tree. Like if you know an area, if you've done your scouting year over year, you can prep trees. Look at John Eberhard. He'll go and drive stakes in trees, big nails.
Yep.
And he won't even carry any kind of climbing gear other than his saddle and use his lineman's belt. Up the tree he goes, and he's already got a row of steps around there with the pegs and everything. So he's really minimalistic on pieces of private that he has, where running gun on public, you can't do that.
Do like allergies make me an okayest hunter as well? Since I'm allergic to everything that I hunt on, like I'll be like trying to climb up a tree, and the tree is falling on my face, and my eyes are just watering, and I have to bring Afrin in my freaking backpack.
You're not alone, but also Greg's scratching his arm here for.
I wandered through a very thick patch of poison sumac, and I'm paying.
Oh no!
Yeah. So from my armpits across my chest and down my arms down to my knuckles.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, so I got on a steroid yesterday from the doc, and it doesn't itch and burn as bad as it did.
Don't touch me.
Get your freaking hands away.
I've got this rash.
What's up, Steve? Did you freeze?
Did I freeze?
There you are. Yeah, all right. Yeah, you went all Steve Emo.
Oh,
but now Steve Emo is back.
We were doing some prep this year at a buddy of mine's property, and there's a tree down the middle of the woods that just got blown over. It was like right in the 2 tracks, so we had to go cut it up. And I'm like, I'm just going to be like a very helping hand. There's a vine there, and I grab it, and everyone's like, yeah, you shouldn't have grabbed that. And I'm like, oh, why? And I look at it and I go, ah, shit. And I just grabbed it, not even thinking I'm not wearing gloves or anything. But yeah, luckily my girlfriend was there that weekend. Otherwise, I would have had a very lonely weekend. We didn't have anything to clean it off there, like, dish soap if it was poison ivy, but all we had was like diesel fuel. So I just poured diesel fuel on my hands, and it worked.
When I was like 12 years old, I guess I got into some poison ivy, and I like rubbed my face.
Oh crap!
And I woke up and I couldn't open my eyes, and I was like, "Mom!" And she came in and she was like, "Ah!" And I got poison ivy all over my face except for like right here, and it got in my eyes.
That's terrifying.
I was like the Elephant Man.
Oh my god! If that happened to my kids, I'd be terrified. But that probably will happen to my kids because they're like Murphy's Law.
See, as a kid, we would always go clear fence lines for the farmer. My dad and I. My dad would just smell the stuff in the air and start breaking out. Me, I could roll in that crap and never bother me.
Mm-hmm.
But I never really.
It was a sumac or something like that you touched?
This was sumac, and sumac it can be
one or the other.
I mean, this crap was 8 feet tall that I was marching through. So, I got
idiot.
Yeah, was an idiot.
Idiot.
I went.
I started hearing a lot.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, I've been hearing a lot lately. A couple and the guys I was talking to, they were like, years and years of spending out in the woods in their younger days. No one ever got poison ivy. Then they're like, then you hit 40, and it's like shit. I don't know. Like, does our skin break down? Does it wait till we're 40? Then it ruins it. Like, how? I'd never heard that before.
So apparently, when you come into poison ivy and contact poison ivy the first time, it does nothing to you. It's like the second time. for a lot of
Like
people.
wild
But
urchin
sometimes
shit.
it has to like develop over time.
Sure.
You have to be like exposed to it, according to my doctor, my sister-in-law's husband. So
Oh, that's a good contact to have.
what
Probably
that's
talk
worth.
all the time.
Mhm.
Anytime something weird shows up, you're like, hey, dude, what's this?
I'll text him, is this normal? He's like, leave me alone. I'm like, okay.
I used to text my mother-in-law all the time. Like, so she's a nurse, and then eventually she'd always just have me go to the ER. I'm like, well, fucking, I can't go to the ER all the time. So I just stopped messaging about stuff.
Dude, I got shanked by my rooster, who is no longer with us,
You chop
when
his
I
head off.
was 6 months pregnant, and had to go to the friggin'. I called my doctor that's in our family and was like, because at first it was fine, and then 5 hours later I couldn't bend my knee, and he's like, you might have an infection in your knee joint, and I was like, because it shanked me right in my knee and the side of my leg. The side of my leg was fine, but my knee was like in distress, and I had to go to the hospital and get freaking put on antibiotics when I was 6 months. Rooster
Scary.
is gone, but we have a new rooster. He's still an asshole, but he's a better asshole. I don't know. I
Heard this
just have to hit him a bunch, and he's fine.
Oh yeah.
Hit him with a freaking rake today.
My buddy's got chicken roosters. I think like they don't. I think the roosters don't taste good, but my buddy that didn't stop him from eating one that was an asshole one day.
They taste fine. You just got to cook them a little longer. They make great soup stock.
Yeah, that rooster came at me, so well now he's dinner.
Sometimes you got to swat them
Well,
in
like-
half with a rake.
Our rooster, we hadn't lost one hen to a predator since we got him. Like, the other rooster was an asshole and didn't protect our hens. But this rooster is awesome. He protects our hens, but, like, he hasn't, like, has bucked up to me, and I'll, like, rake him, and he hasn't, like, attacked me. If he attacks me, he's gone. But, like, I'm like, okay, I get it. You're trying to look good for your girls, like, whatever. But he's, like, 8 pounds. He's huge. His name's Chip. He's an asshole.
What a cock!
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well
Dude,
this is good shit. Steve, I was gonna say you got any questions?
No, yeah, I got a real funny story that I'll get out of here for you guys. I was turkey hunting with my buddy. I was turkey hunting with my buddy Judd, and he was telling me a story. It was a couple Christmases ago, and his wife owns a bunch of cattle, like right across the way. They call it Jurassic Park, and they had this one bull that kept getting out. And he was just telling me this story, and I was just like, I was amazed by it. This bull just always got out. Where he lives is right down the middle of, like, you have to go on an 8-mile road, and his house is right on this curve. So if you're gonna call for help, you know it's gonna be a while before anybody gets there. What happens to be, it happened to be Christmas Eve. And he was like, all right, well, family's in town and they wanted to go out hunting the next day. And, you know, there's all the family's there and this bull's out and everybody kind of looks at each other and goes, well, and we're probably not getting, because this bull for escaping it. And he was mean. So they just, well, everybody, we're going to put it down and everybody get a knife and cut it up. And he said they cut it up to like all hours of the morning, and by the time they're finally done, they look and they go, we got about 15 minutes to make it to the stand. Let's go ahead and go out. So Christmas Eve, everybody got meat by. They didn't have to worry about the bull, and then they went out hunting. I don't know if anybody shot anything there, but everybody gets fresh bull and fresh deer.
Freaking gluttons. Who's going to eat all that? The Lord.
Yeah.
Like 600 pounds of,
A lot of freaking
say the
meat.
bull's on the lighter end. 600 pounds of beef off that bull.
Yeah, you ever buy like a quarter of a cow or something like that? It'll last like 6 months or more, you know?
Not
Depending on the
around
size
my
of your family. It depends, right.
Our bull keeps having boys, or he'd been butchered a long time ago.
Dude, Steve, thanks for jumping on, man, and asking some great questions.
Yeah, bud.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon. Sarah, thanks for letting me come in and bother you with some questions.
Anytime,
I did want to
Steve.
say... Anytime. Well, I do got a podcast too, wink, wink. But I did want to say one of the coolest moments a couple of weeks ago, I was actually at All Out, and I got to see your former stablemate, Ruby Soho, make her debut, and that place was nuts. Like, all night it was nuts.
I was also there.
Were you really?
He's like, wait, what?
I surprised her. It was sweet.
Damn.
Of course,
yeah,
that's my best friend. Of course I'm going to surprise her.
That was such a cool atmosphere. It was like almost as cool as like the All In. It was just it's a really cool time in time of wrestling, and I'm like super thankful that I got to talk to you, and you guys are doing Roseburg TV, which is awesome, and I'm a big fan. And I don't want to eat up too much more of your guys' time, so I appreciate it.
Thanks, Steve.
Appreciate
Thanks,
you.
buddy.
Bye, Steve.
Appreciate it, man.
Later.
It's our buddy Stevie Mo. He's the one that we said was going to call. And my call. You remember all that technology? I can't talk. Technology issues I having that it dropped off my thing. So any other people that wanted to call in, I'm sorry that's not going to work. I don't know what the deal is. Oh well, we're having a good time anyways. Okay, I have like a couple more questions for you about your favorite venison recipes. What you guys? There's a picture of like your husband holding some back straps, with a pretty sweet shirt too. I might add. What are you guys cooking up over there?
Oh God.
Oh, you wearing it right now?
Yeah.
Dembos. Is that your stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you.
Like
we put like a
Demboy,
lot of the
Dembo.
bow shirts don't have crossbows on it, like because people like hate on crossbow hunters. Like
I don't
we
know
don't
why.
discriminate here. Freedom, come with your crossbow.
Yeah, no, that's pretty dope. I dig it a lot.
That just tells me that if you're not confident with one type of weapon and you have the option, you're going to do that to do a more efficient job of taking that animal.
Yeah.
Right. And my neighbor, he loves to hunt. He's 68 years old. He don't want to freaking pull a compound bow back. I can get it. Freaking hunt with your crossbow.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's dope. I dig it. It's pretty freaking cool. I saw it. It made sense right away.
Man.
Them bows. I like it. So what are you guys cooking up over there?
Well, that backstrap, dude, you can't, no one can convince me otherwise. The best type of meat you can cook is on a seasoned cast iron with butter and salt. Boom,
that's what I've been learning how to do over here. I actually, within like probably the last 2 years,
you're welcome.
I've been starting to really try to learn more because I didn't know. I was overcooking venison and it tasted like shit. If you overcook it, it loses all its flavor. It's no good. I wouldn't say it's no good. It's not.
And I like my meat like rare anyway. Like a good vet should be able to bring my meat back to life. And venison is just like, we had the heart the other morning, again, pan fried in butter with our scrambled eggs in the morning. One of my favorite recipes too. I love venison tacos. I meal prep with venison a lot because it's low in fat. So I a lot of times because venison kind of has the same fat to protein ratio as chicken. So just like when we have a good hunting season, I can basically meal prep for free because I just have all this lean meat in the freezer that I can, because we don't mix our venison with any beef or
whatever.
Pork. Yeah, whatever. We don't do that. So I think it's fine as is. Especially like if you leave like the waxy fat on, like if you don't cut stuff off and you just grind it to like really fine, grind it all up together, like that shit melts off anyway. So we don't add anything to our venison and we meal prep with it. I had 10 ounces of backstrap today. I'm spoiled. I have ribeyes every single night. Like I have 13 ounces of ribeye every single night.
That's awesome. I'm so hungry. I had Lucky Charms before I came down here tonight.
Yuck.
No, God, you poor thing.
That was my dinner.
I made thick cooked pork chops. They're waiting at home in the gravy. So,
gravy.
You guys are making me hungry. I'm not really thrilled.
With garden grown potatoes.
You,
boil them and mash
you
them.
Can't go wrong with eating potatoes. Like, tried and true.
I can't.
My doctor might argue a little bit now that he checked my cholesterol, but
tell your doctor high cholesterol is fine. It's the other markers together that are bad.
Yeah.
If you have a high fat diet, you're gonna have a high cholesterol because that's what the fat uses to travel to take energy. Anyway, high cholesterol ain't an issue. It's the other stuff. But I'll get off that soapbox.
We're gonna talk to you some more about our diet. Is that the kind of coaching you do, by the way? Is it like lifting and diet, or what is it?
Yeah, it's kind of like all of it. I'm a very experienced athlete. I've done powerlifting, weightlifting. I've been strongman. I was a professional athlete on TV for 10 years. So, it's kind of taken all of my like experiences, like postnatal and prenatal, like a lot of like moms. I have a lot of mom clients too, and it's just totally formed to your goals. Like whatever you want to accomplish, like we'll freaking do it, you know. So I have a strongman client. I have a dude that has cerebral palsy, awesome lifter. I got moms. I got like just basic lifters, you know. Like I got a little bit of everybody.
That's kind of cool. I didn't realize that. That's good to know.
Yeah, you're helping people make a difference in their life. That's great.
And you know, Trevor.
And like a lot of people they'll start like lifting and they're like, this is all my life has to be. And like, unless you're training for a competition, if lifting doesn't add to your life, then like something needs to change.
Well,
If you're like,
yeah, it's my understanding you burn more calories. Like I ran more than I normally would overall, but more than I normally would most. I like to run in the summer. I don't know what it is. I just like to run outside, and I like to run in the hot heat. So last summer I ran a bunch, and there wasn't like a really demonstrable difference between like my physique and all this damn running. Now diet, it all starts there, but I notice in the past when I'm lifting, I feel like I'm burning way more calories lifting, and I can chisel up quick doing that.
and so
Versus
like
running.
the main kicker, like the main like little chunk of advice I can give you is like, so if you don't eat enough and you work out too much, your metabolism shuts down. If you eat too much if you eat too much and don't work out very often, your metabolism shuts down. Like you have to find a balance in what you eat and how much energy you're exerting. Cause like you'll be like someone that's like, I hardly eat anything and I'm not even hungry. I don't know how I'm not losing weight. It's because your metabolism is taking a shit on you because we as people are designed to survive. So if your body's like, we're not getting a lot of food, we are not going to burn any of this energy. Like we're going to need this one day when we're not getting as much food. So if you're keeping your body in a state of like, all right, I'm prepping for something, or if you're exercising too much and you're not eating enough, your metabolism's like, I need to save this because we're working too much. I need to shut this shit down. So you have to kind of make your body relax in order to kind of lose weight in a healthy way. Kind of, because like when you burn fat, because fat cells burn energy to make. So when you burn fat, it just kind of drains that fat cell, but it's still there. And it, fills back up easily. Your body, again, I remember. And so it's a very fine line between, like my mom came up to me and she's like, I've been dieting. I don't know this is what I'm eating every day. I'm like, you're eating 750 calories a day. Like, get out of my house. Go. It's like, what, when I chop liver, like, you're not just going to, but.
That's what venison. No, that's cool. That's good stuff. So like that stuff obviously translates to the woods, especially for like the guys that do Western hunts and mule deer and elk. We got a lot of those folks in the audience that listen. Most of our audience, I think, are like whitetail folks. But that's easy. You get a deer and you're dragging it, like we talked about it. It's hard work. You're tracking it. It's hard work. You're hiking into some deep spots. It's hard work. So it behooves you to like not be completely out of shape if you can help it, to like at least support the lifestyle that you're doing, or don't.
I love like Tim Kennedy's "Get Fit or Die." Like it's legit.
Sure, yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Well, cool. So venison recipes are shit ton of meat to like handle your caloric intake needs that you have, and I don't know, all around, you live a pretty cool lifestyle by the sounds of it. Like
it's not bad. I gotta tell you, it's not bad.
That's good.
I have a crazy awesome Viking hunting husband. I have a beautiful son. I have an amazing farm that gives me both deer, chicken, and beef. Like my cost of living is getting lower each year, and I don't know, life's freaking solid.
So what's your okayest hunter moment so far to date to wrap this up?
Besides my spatula tree stand story,
which I love.
Pretty good.
You gotta
so
go.
my first ever time hunting with a compound bow, I tagged out in 2 days. Like I was a freaking assassin. Like I could have thrown an arrow and killed a deer at this point. Like I'm reusing arrows at this point. Like I didn't bring enough, and I'm just like getting blood and guts and freaking mud off my trocar, and I'm freaking knocking it and sending it. But there was this one deer, like it was like my last day there, and hadn't seen nothing all day, and it's the day before the season ends, so I'm like, if it's brown, it's down pretty much at this point. And this little doe comes up, and I see other does like around, because this doe is like stupid. It's like it's the like the what's the word I'm looking for? The pawn. Yeah, it's the doe no one cares about. Like, yeah, go check if it's, I'm sure it's fine. Go ahead. So it comes in, and I'm like, screw it, sending it. So I shoot once, and I was pulling like 42 pounds at the time. So every deer is like squatting my shot. So I take the shot. The deer is clueless and doesn't jump my arrow. So my arrow goes right underneath of it. I'm like, okay, cool. It runs away. 10 seconds later, it comes back. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm in a hunting blind. So I just squat down. I put another arrow in. And I was like, all right, I'll aim for real this time. I aim and I miss again. I was like, well, that was just on me. Shit, all right. Runs away. It comes back 20 seconds later. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to aim a little high. Smoked it. Dead deer. And I was like, this deer deserves, like, I'm like taking every arrow I got in my freaking quiver at this point, sending it at this deer, and it's dumbass. It wanted to die, is what I'm thinking.
What do you call that, Greg?
Like a sheep.
Greg's got funny terms for things. This is a common theme in hunting. Like, if a deer presents itself that many times, we can't help ourselves. Like, okay, I wasn't going to shoot you, but now you're going to die. Yeah. Like, I've heard that story so many times. I've been that guy, and my buddies. But like, I wonder if there's like a term for this.
I had those
behavior.
Like that too when I had that urban piece. It was a sacrificial lamb, man. That thing was like it was destined to die. I watched the neighbor.
It was written in the stars.
Yeah, it was written. It was written someplace.
Like, you can't walk by me 3 times, and I'm not like, yeah, I'm not going to kill it. Yeah,
that same.
You know what?
I think it was like that night I got my big buck, and I was actually drawn back on a lesser buck. I'm in a hunting blind. I'm drawn back on a lesser buck, and I'm trying to. It's like getting dark. I'm getting nervous. I'm drawn back for like 10 years, and I was about to hit this other buck, and the big one came into frame, and I was like, ugh! And I turned and freaking shot the big one. So that was I was like, I was just gonna shoot this little bitty guy. I was drawn back and everything, and just so happens this Goliath comes into the picture. Made me look real good.
That's pretty great. I just made a meme today, actually. I used a New Girl clip. Do I regret it?
Girl.
Yes. Would I do it again? Probably.
Nick. Classic Nick.
Yes. I feel like Nick from New Girl and Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec are like our 2 unofficial spokes dudes for the channel. It's nuts. They have like the best content.
Did you guys create it, or did I just see it? Like, you guys need to create a meme where, like, when he's going to the Lowe's and they're like, "Can I help you with anything?" And he's like, "I know more than you." He's like, "Okay."
Damn it! No, that wasn't us. But I'm gonna have to go find that one now. I know what you're talking about. He's like, "No, I know more than you." Yeah, we did one like, or he's like going up to this dude at the grocery store, Ron Swanson. The guy's offering him like tofu bacon, and he like just grabs it and throws it in the garbage. He's like, "Oh, another." He doesn't extend.
I'm going to make sure no one else eats this bacon.
Yes.
So that April comes in and freaking gets one too.
She does it. Oh my God. It's just great. Well, thanks for hanging out with us on our OKist podcast.
I had an okay time. I'm not going to lie.
That's good. And you drink some scotch.
That's what makes it better.
Yeah. Yeah, you ought to.
I'm breastfeeding, so I haven't had scotch in forever. So, like, look, my freaking Irishness is coming out. My face is getting all red.
Yeah, so you're Irish. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, my wife's breastfeeding. She's like, she calls it a boob slave, and she is either pumping or feeding or pumping or feeding or pumping or feeding. And like, that's her life. She can't like get out of the house at all to save her own life. It's
just a big cow. That's what I am.
Our son just turned a month and a day or something today. He was 5 weeks. 5 weeks and a day. He was 5 weeks yesterday. And so then we have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. So there's no.
You poor things. I can imagine. I have a friggin' 8-month-old, and I'm not sleeping. He just eats all the friggin' time.
Well, he's gonna be big. He's gonna be a big boy. But I joke with new parents. I say, don't worry. It only gets harder. Like, it will not get easier. So, like, every stage of the game, appreciate how easy you have it, because you're gonna look back and be like, why did I think that was hard? This is way harder.
I feel like some things get easier, and then something else gets exponentially harder. So, like, you're like, oh, at least that's over. Then it's like curveball.
Yeah, wait till you're 8 months. So you're probably at like the 8-month sleep regression stage where they're like, oh, well, I was sleeping, but now I'm not anymore. You, mom, dad. It's like, yeah.
And he's like rolling and crawling and pulling himself up on stuff. So we bought a like floor bed today, but we don't have any room in our room. So we just cleaned out so my kid sleeps in a closet now. He's like a little Harry Potter dude.
Pretty great. Pretty great. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the live broadcast. For those that tuned in live, thank you. And for all that do tune in live, this gets released and published tonight. So it'll be in podcast land this evening for all to listen.
Tonight.
That's right. Yeah,
I got a real line. Yep.
Well, thank you again. And I'm going to end the live broadcast. So everyone have a good night.
Of course. It's freaking great time. I lied. It wasn't just okay. It was awesome. I keep up appearances. You guys got a brand to uphold.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. All right.